Jon Jones reignites rivalry with Cormier in latest jab. Jon Jones has found himself in the headlines yet again, this time for a bizarre jab at his longtime rival Daniel Cormier. Jones recently posted an image of Cormier crying, captioning it with a mix of humor and sarcasm that immediately sparked online backlash. Fans were quick to call Jones out, with one top comment reading, "DC should frame Jones's mugshot and hang it in his house for payback." The incident has reignited debates about Jones's public behavior and his legacy as one of the sport's most polarizing figures. While some fans laughed off the post as typical Jones antics, others criticized him for continuing to stoke the rivalry. Jon wonders why DC doesn't want to make peace, but this kind of stuff is exactly why, one commenter wrote. Jones's penchant for controversy has often overshadowed his achievements in the octagon, and this latest incident is no exception. With his next fight on the horizon, fans and analysts are left wondering if Jones can stay focused on his career or if his off-the-cuff antics will continue to dominate headlines. Ilia Topuria makes the jump to lightweight. Ilia Topuria's coach, Jorge Clement, has confirmed that the featherweight standout is making the jump to the lightweight division. The decision comes as Topuria seeks to avoid the grueling weight cuts that have become increasingly difficult as he matures physically. Ilia doesn't want to keep cutting so much weight, Clement revealed. His body is changing, and he wants to perform at his best without the strain of an extreme weight cut. The move has already sparked speculation about potential matchups for Topuria in the stacked lightweight division. Fighters like Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira have been floated as possible opponents, with Clement expressing confidence in Topuria's abilities. Ilia has striking from another planet, and his anti-jiu-jitsu skills make him a nightmare for anyone. If Oliveira tries to grapple with Ilia, it could end with one big shot turning the lights out. Topuria himself is eager to test his skills against the lightweight elite, with some insiders suggesting that he could be on a fast track to a title shot if he makes a strong impression. Fans will be watching closely to see if the move pays off or if the challenges of a new division prove too much for the rising star. Colby Covington hits rock bottom after title shot woes. Colby Covington has been to the top of the welterweight division, but losing 3 title shots, including his most recent bout against Leon Edwards at UFC 296, sent him spiraling to what he calls the lowest of lows. Covington admitted that the defeat shook him to his core. "I lost and forgot who I was," he revealed. Adding to his struggles, Covington disclosed that he broke his foot in the very first round against Edwards, leaving him compromised from the start. "The first kick I threw hit his elbow, and I knew it was going to be a tough night," he said. Despite the pain, Covington pushed through, facing one of the hardest fights of his career. The frustration of having to fight with an injury against a top-tier opponent highlighted the grueling nature of MMA, a sport where even the slightest disadvantage can be catastrophic. Now, a year later, Covington says he's in a better place mentally and physically. He's used the time to grow as a martial artist, and as a person. "It's about coming back and giving the fans a real treat," he stated. Covington has shifted his focus to his upcoming fight against Joaquin Buckley at UFC Tampa, an opponent known for his explosive power and unpredictable style. Despite Buckley's reputation, Covington seems undeterred. "People have tried to write me off, but now it's about rewriting all those wrongs." The question remains, can Covington shake off the ghosts of his past defeats and rise once again? Sean O'Malley eyes title glory and Yan rematch. Sean O'Malley isn't done making waves in the bantamweight division. Despite a recent setback, O'Malley is laser-focused on reclaiming the title and setting up a high-stakes rematch with Peter Yan. "Ideally, I regain the title, and then me versus Peter for 5 rounds, that's the fight everyone wants to see," O'Malley stated confidently. The thought of a 5-round war between 2 of the division's most dynamic strikers has fans buzzing. O'Malley's ambition doesn't stop there. He's eyeing other big names in the division, including Umar Nurmagomedov and Merab Dvalishvili, both of whom have been climbing the ranks. O'Malley also hinted at wanting to change the narrative around his controversial loss to Merab, urging fans to rewatch the fight once the UFC releases it in full. "People might see it differently without the commentary swaying opinions," he remarked. Known for his flashy style and sharp wit, O'Malley is determined to silence critics and prove he's still the future of the division. "Every time I step in the cage, I'm learning and evolving," he said. With his sights set on redemption and iconic matchups, O'Malley's journey promises to be nothing short of electrifying. If he can reclaim the title, the stage could be set for a trilogy with Yan, a storyline that would cement his place in MMA history. Cub Swanson fires back in beef with Joaquin Buckley. The beef between Cub Swanson and Joaquin Buckley has added extra heat to the upcoming UFC Tampa card. Swanson, a seasoned veteran, took issue with Buckley's bold claim that he would knock out MMA legend Georges St-Pierre if they fought at the same age. Swanson fired back on social media, stating, "Better men have tried and couldn't do it." Things escalated when Buckley called Swanson out, resorting to name-calling. Swanson stood his ground, later telling reporters, "I think the younger guys need to show respect to the people who paved the way. I've stayed true to myself throughout my career, and I'm not backing down from what I said." Despite the tension, Swanson insists he holds no ill will toward Buckley, but believes an apology is due. "Calling me names was over the line," he said. "I was a fan of his until that moment. With both fighters set to compete on the same card, this feud has fans buzzing. Whether the two cross paths in the cage or outside it, all eyes will be on Tampa to see if the beef gets settled." Beyond the drama, the matchup highlights the generational clash in MMA, an industry where respect for the sport's pioneers often comes into question. Kamaru Usman questions Covington's readiness. Kamaru Usman, a former rival of Colby Covington, has shared his thoughts on Covington's upcoming fight against Joaquin Buckley. Usman expressed concern about Covington's extended layoff, stating, "Inactivity can make it tough to get going, and Buckley isn't the kind of fighter to give you time to settle in." Covington's last fight was nearly a year ago against Leon Edwards, and Usman believes the time away from competition could pose challenges. "Colby needs to impose his wrestling early, get Buckley up against the cage, and make him work," Usman explained. "If the fight goes into the later rounds, Covington's cardio and pace could take over, but it's a dangerous matchup." Usman also highlighted Buckley's striking power, noting that it could spell trouble if Covington doesn't close the distance quickly. "Buckley's explosive and powerful. Colby can't afford to let him find his rhythm." As a fighter who's faced Covington twice, Usman's analysis adds an extra layer of intrigue to this clash, leaving fans eager to see if Covington can overcome his challenges or if Buckley will capitalize on his momentum. Belal Muhammad thinks Conor McGregor's stardom is fading. Belal Muhammad didn't hold back when discussing Conor McGregor's recent controversies and what he perceives as the former champion's diminishing stardom. Speaking on Jake Shields' podcast, Belal shared, "No matter how much money he has, Conor cares about the attention, and you can tell it bothers him that people don't respect him like they used to." Belal highlighted McGregor's recent behavior, from social media tirades to questionable public appearances, as signs of a fighter struggling to maintain relevance. "He used to elevate the sport, but now he's just feeding into the stereotypes of fighters being reckless," Belal said. Belal also addressed McGregor's legacy, acknowledging his role in boosting MMA's global profile, but cautioning that his recent actions could overshadow his accomplishments. "At some point, you've got to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what are people going to remember me for?" he added. With rumors swirling about a potential return to the octagon, fans and fighters alike are left wondering if McGregor can reinvent himself, or if his best days are truly behind him.